Good afternoon. Welcome to Firefighter Financial Toolbox, your online resource for firefighters to get some help with financial questions, investing, and everything you can think about. I'm Brad. I'm an 18-year career firefighter paramedic. What I am not is a financial expert, and I do not pretend to pay one on YouTube. But once upon a time in my life, I was at a point where I didn't know very much about financial anything. I knew I needed to save. I knew I had to plan for retirement, but I got this new firefighter job. I knew I'd have a pension, and by the time I was 55 and 25 years of service, I'd have a pension, and I figured that would just keep me alive until Social Security kicked in, and that was that. Didn't plan any further than that. Turns out there's a lot of stuff I forgot, or rather, I didn't forget, I just didn't know I didn't know it. Let me give you a little background. About 18 years ago, I came from private ambulance. I'd been working in a system for about 8 years, and I had a 401k there. I knew I had to save, and I did. I saved a little bit at a time, but not a lot. And then I got my job with the fire district, and I went to move it over to the new plan. And I found out we couldn't do that. But I didn't know why we couldn't do that. It just said, no, you can't do that. So what did I do? I cashed it out. Now, the taxes on that are 25%, or they were at that time, and there's a 10% penalty. So of my $10,000, I got about $6,300, which I put in my checking account and subsequently spent. Why? Because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what an IRA was. I didn't know why I couldn't roll it over. I just knew the district said I couldn't. So I learned pretty fast. There was a lot of things I didn't know, and maybe I should learn. One of the big problems with not knowing what you don't know is you don't really know what you need to know. For example, the reason I couldn't roll over my 401k was because our district uses a 457B plan, which is basically the same qualified plan, only for governmental agencies. However, you cannot roll 401ks into those. I didn't know this. The turning point that really made me decide I needed to learn more about what I didn't know was my mom died about 10 years ago, and she left me a small inheritance. Now, it wasn't very much, but it was money. It was enough that I knew I had to do something with. I didn't want to waste it. I didn't want to squander it away. I knew I had to invest it in some kind of plan, but I didn't know how or where. So what did I do? I started reading. I started reading all the books I could. And then I got together with our investment person at work, who is basically in charge of our 457 plan, and I said, hey, this is what I don't know. And she gave me a list of books to read. So I started reading everything I could find. And you know what? It really isn't that hard when you start thinking about it. The other thing it's made me think about is maybe I should look at my finances as a whole instead of just this new money. And I realized that we were spending an awful lot of money on stuff that really didn't matter. What I mean is, we go out to eat, we would go out with friends a lot, where you'd go out and spend a ton of money really quickly and have really nothing to show for it. Which brings us to another very important rule of financial independence, and that is you have to spend less than you make. If you don't have money, you can't make money. So make sure, A, that you save enough money that you can invest, and B, make sure that you have a plan that will keep that plan working. We found pretty fast the easiest way to do this isn't that hard. It's just simply pay yourself first. What I mean by that is, if you have money coming out of your check for whatever your qualified plan is, if it's 457, 403B, 401k, whatever it is, if it's coming out of your check before you ever see it, you don't miss it. But if you say, well, I'm going to wait till I get my next raise and then I'll put away a little bit, that time never comes. It never comes. You can find a way to spend every penny you make. Remember when you got off probation, you bought that big Ford F-250? I do. $450 payment, and that was 18 years ago, 17 years ago. It was a long time ago, but they're just more expensive now. Now I drive a Leaf, and I still have the same truck that I had from 2003. In this series, I hope to talk about a lot of things, everything from budgeting to different types of plans to ways to save to thinking about taxation even in our retirement. Because we are fortunate to have a pension, at least most of us will, although those are going by the wayside, but I plan to have some. And so that changes the way we have to think about planning for retirement. There's a lot, I've covered a lot, and I've kind of gone off some tangents, but I just want to give you a little insight as to what this channel is going to be about, and I hope that you'll come and see me. I would ask you to please subscribe and hit the like button. If any of this interests you and you have any interest in coming back and learning some more from me, I appreciate it, and all I can say is stay safe on the job.